Hello everyone and welcome to my ABCGH Spoilers channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Willow strikes again. Sunny made a promise. Anna's intimidating agony. General Hospital recaps for Monday, January 19th reveal. Justine Turner gave Dante falconry orders. Plus, Sunny Corinthos made a pledge and Anna D embrazen to agony. On the next General Hospital, Willow thanked her sympathizers after being vindicated. After the not shamefaced verdict was blazed, Alexis Davis suffed in relief but did end clinch her agitated customer. Trina Robinson complained to Kai Taylor about Willow escaping tried murder charges. While Michael Corinthos snappily left the courtroom, the judge said Willow Tait was free, and Nina Reeves hugged her son, relieved it was over. Harrison Chase complimented Willow, and Drew Cain rushed to her, saying he knew she'd be cleared, just as he promised. Willow thanked her sympathizers, and Alexis reminded Drew to keep his pledge before leaving. Justine gave Dante orders. In the courtroom, Justine told Dante they lost the case due to missing business cam footage and asked him to find out who tampered with it. As Drew and Willow left, Drew told Turner he'd communicate her about pressing charges against Michael the Bone who shot him. Justine was frustrated and scolded Chase for hurting her case with his evidence. Chase claimed he spoke the verity because he believed the wrong person was fulfilled. Justine replied that Willow was acquitted only because the jury missed crucial substantiation. Justine suggested at Chase being behind the missing footage. She suggested that Chase might be behind the missing footage, but he denied tampering with it. He told Justine he wanted to ensure the right person was penalized and said if she had done her job, Drew's shooter would be in jail and she wouldn't be bothering him. After Chase left, Justine told Dante to make a case against Michael. Fading his family was the main suspect. Dante suggested they also look at other suspects like Curtis Ashford. Still, Justine allowed. Alexis's defense forced the state to concentrate solely on Michael. Sunny visited Miller and Davis. Sunny visited Miller and Davis to see Diane Miller and Alexis and learned from Suzanne that the jury had decided in Willow's trial. Sunny expressed his stopgap that Willow would be acquitted for everyone's benefit, surprising Suzanne since the DA might target Michael. He claimed the prosecutor demanded substantiation against Michael and did condemn Alexis for her defense strategy as she was just doing her job for Willow. Sunny mentioned that Drew had given Alexis and claimed to clear Willow if she wanted to see Scout Cain again, noting they would do anything for their kiddies and grandkids. Also, Suzanne entered a textbook from Alexis saying the jury set up Willow not shamefaced. After Sunny left, Alexis returned upset over the outcome. Back in her office and worried, Alexis started throwing lines. Concerned Suzanne came by and asked why she was acting like she lost the case. Also figured out that Willow was shamefaced. Alexis wanted to know how long Suzanne had known, and her adjunct revealed she suspected Willow's protective jest during their trial. At first, she was unsure, but also Alexis had slipped during totality, saying, "Willow shot Drew. It made me sick to stay quiet knowing she was shamefaced," Alexis fumed. "And now she's free," Alexis explained to Suzanne. Following that, while keeping names out of the discussion, Alexis developed on the shocking substantiation she had uncovered regarding Willow, which had come to light on the very night she wrapped up her case. With a reassuring tone, Suzanne affirmed to Alexis that she had acted immorally by offering Willow the finest defense she could muster. She further encouraged her superior to let go of the history and embrace what lay ahead, particularly now that she was suitable to be with Scout again. As for Willow, she has now come Drew's concern to deal with. Suzanne reflected with a hint of misprion. Trina and Kai talked about the trial at Bad Gen Cafe. Trina and Kai bandied the court case. Kai was worried that double jeopardy meant Willow couldn't be tried again. Trina offered a different view, saying that Willow, after declaring her love for Drew in court, was now stuck with him, which might be discipline enough. Kai told Trina he planned to quit as Drew's in turn and would go to the police if Michael was criminated, as they shouldn't both threat execution. Trina didn't want him to take the fall for a crime they both committed. But Kai claimed he loved her too much to let her ruin her life. Trina kissed him while sitting on his stage, and they agreed to go to the police together if demanded. Nina arrived at Drew's house with champagne. At home, Drew assured Willow he'd get her kitties back, just like he promised to clear her name, acting like a loving woman. She said she didn't know what she'd do without him, but she squeezed her eyes shut while kissing him. Scout also rushed by, having heard from her nurse that her parents had good news. She hugged Willow when she learned that Willow wouldn't go to captivity. To Drew's disappointment, Willow praised Alexis for defending her to Scout and told the girl that her grandmother would have further time for her. Now, just as Scout asked to visit Alexis that day, Nina arrived with champagne to celebrate. Drew advised Nina. While Willow took Scout for a snack, Drew told Nina to go and hover to inform his woman about Nina wanting Willow condemned to take over the case. Na indicted Drew of misrepresenting her words, but he stood establishment smugly, saying Willow would be furious to learn Nina tried to sabotage their relationship again. Not bullied by Drew's trouble, Nina agreed to leave just to avoid ruining Willow's festivity, but promised she'd return. Indeed, though, Drew got Na to leave. Chase arrived soon after with flowers for Willow. Drew said Na's festivity fell piecemeal, but he couldn't make Chase leave before Willow came back, and the Sultan was dissatisfied with how his woman thanked Herrick's husband again. Sonny made a promise. Back at the Cordine estate, Michael flashed back his talk with Willow about her visiting the kiddies if she went to captivity. She'd wondered what if she was set up, not shamefaced. Sonny came to see Michael, who complained that it was only a matter of time before the police charged him. "Everyone thinks I did it." "Indeed, my poor Michael," said sorely. Sonny, not minding if Michael shot Drew, promised to keep his son from being penalized for the crime. Michael refocused out that indeed if his per could help him from going to captivity. Willow's being set up innocent would affect the visit. Hale Sonny went to talk to Turner. After leaving Michael, he wanted to cover W.Y. and Amelia Corinthos from their unstable mama and manipulative stepfather. Sonny again promised to keep Michael out of captivity for shooting Drew, and Michael claimed he didn't do it. Michael stressed Turner would target him to save his character, but Sonny assured him that Turner wouldn't be the prosecutor. Laterally, Sonny went to the courthouse and saw Justine as she was leaving. When she asked if he was there to bewail, Sonny said he was there to help her. Michael and Chase got into a fierce argument. At that moment, Michael was gaping at a picture on his phone that featured himself, W.Y., and Amelia. When Chase entered the den, Chase proposed that they should discover a way to peacefully co-occur for the benefit of the family, especially now that Willow had been cleared of all charges. Nonetheless, Michael was adamant about not wanting to attune with his kinsman. He said Chase was induced that Michael was responsible for shooting Drew and laterally supported Alexis in constructing a case against him. This disagreement snappily escalated into a heated argument between the two. Anna brazen agony. Anna shocked when she heard Caesar Faison talking to her through the intercom. Not believing it was real, Anna cried back that he was dead. But Faison kept talking about their complicated history and claimed that now that they were back together, they would no way be separated again. Claiming she was being deceived, Anna cried that someone wanted her to believe Faison was alive. Faison also mentioned that his children Nathan West and Britt Westbourne were also dead, but they had both come back to life. Also asked Anna if she had ever allowed that all three of them might have entered the same miraculous treatment. "No," she screamed. "I eventually got relieved of you." Anna became physically ill, rushing to the restroom. Also, when Faison said she could no way escape him because what they had was ever, Anna hastened into her restroom, feeling suddenly sick. After returning to the living room, Anna extinguished the cigarillo in the ashtray and threw it in the trash, declaring that she knew Faison was dead because his brain was in a jar. "Someone's brain is in a jar, Anna," the man's voice joked. "But it's not mine. I'm right then with you." When Anna claimed that the man revealed himself, Faison responded that he couldn't let her see him until he was fully healed. Anna felt shocked when Faison added that formerly he recovered. They would spend the rest of their lives together in their new home. Willow picked Drew with a hype. Laterally, Alexis was organizing Willow's lines when Scout came to visit her grandmother, leading to an emotional reunion. Back at the Cain Menage, Willow informed Drew that she had Chelsea take Scout to see Alexis so they could have some time together with the champagne Nina had brought. The couple heeded to their future. Also, while Drew suggested they should plan a holiday if it fit around her visit Hale, Willow approached the president he was in and hugged him from before ahead, suddenly pecking him in the neck with a hype. As Drew collapsed unconscious, she echoed the words he'd been telling her for weeks. "Everything's going to work out, Drew. You'll see." General Hospital spoilers for Tuesday, January 20th reveal that suckers will see Drew Cain's fate after Willow Cain's hype. Stunner. Britt West will also have a surprise for Jason Morgan. So then what observers can anticipate? A GH Britt will tell Jason that she has commodity she wants to show him. Jason will boo and raise an eyebrow over Britt's hint before she leads him nearly private. Britt may eventually collect the kiss she won during their hatchet-throwing spin since she's about to ask Jason to go on another date with her. Unfortunately, WSB director Ross Cullum is about to deliver some instructions that could lead to trouble for Britt and Jason's budding relationship. Meanwhile, Lucas Jones and Elizabeth Baldwin will deal with the case's medical extremity. Now that Willow has jabbed Drew with a hype, will he be rushed to the sanitarium for treatment? Still, Willow may eventually have to call 911 just to play the part of a spooked woman who wants to help her hubby. If this is real and not a fantasy, someone might indeed stop by the house and lead to Willow calling for paramedics in front of him. Whatever the case, Tracy Cordine will eventually tell Nina Reeves that Drew got what he'd coming. Karma is a wine. It eventually came for Drew. Tracy insists in the exercise clip. We know that Lucas will deliver updates on some crushing news by midweek. So, could he reveal that Scout Cain's purr is in a coma or worse? Will Drew survive Willow's hype and the medical complications that will follow? Over with Stella Henry, she'll shut down Isaiah Gainon's attempt to speak with her. Stella wouldn't be interested in discovering any family-related information since Isaiah isn't stranger. That's a family matter and you aren't family. Stella declares in Tuesday's exercise videotape. As for Trina Robinson, she'll open up to Ava Jerome, but just how important will she partake? Will Trina trust Ava with the whole verity, including the part about Willow's guilt, or just concentrate on her passions about her parents' divorce rather? Next, Sunny Corinthos will advise ADA Justine Turner that it would be a big mistake to go after Michael Corinthos. Justine may act all tough like she's not spooked of Sunny, but he'll indeed manage to blackjack her a bit. Nonetheless, Idiot Turner may be a bigger problem for Sunny than he anticipated in the coming weeks. In the meantime, Michael will provoke Harrison Chase by asking how long until Chase is back in Willow's bed. Chase will sund Michael, who will strike back and turn this into a full-blooded brawl at the Cordine manse. General Hospital spoilers say Brooklyn Quartermain wouldn't be pleased over all the fighting, so stay tuned for her response. Willow strikes again, and this time the fallout threatens to shatter what little stability remains in Port Charles. As her quiet determination transforms into a force no bone saw coming, least of all those who believed she'd continue choosing peace over battle. Because beneath her calm surface, Willow has reached a breaking point where treason, secrets, and emotional manipulation can no longer be ignored. And her coming move sends shock waves through multiple lives at formerly, particularly when she confronts trueness that were designedly kept from her in the name of protection. A word that now feels more like an armament than a guard. And while some see her conduct as reckless, others fate them as the ineluctable result of being undervalued for far too long. Especially as Willow begins connecting blotches that expose long-standing falsehoods tied to power, fidelity, and survival, placing her directly on a collision course with Sunny Corinthos, a man who knows better than anyone that promises in Port Charles are no way simple. Because Sunny made a pledge, one he intended to keep no matter the cost. But the weight of that oath grows heavier with every fleeting hour as the lines between family, crime, and morality blur beyond recognition, forcing him to defy the possibility that recognizing his word could destroy the very people he swore to cover. And as Sunny wrestles with his heart, his once resurfaces in hanging ways, reminding him that pledges made in despair frequently come with consequences that cannot be undone, especially when adversaries lurk in the murk, staying for the perfect moment to strike. And Sunny's pledge becomes further than just a particular obligation. It becomes a ticking time lemon hanging to explode across Port Charles, entangling abettors and adversaries. Likewise, in a web of peril that no quantum of power can completely control. All while Anna Dean finds herself trapped in an intimidating agony that feels far too real to dismiss as bare subconscious fear. Because Anna's agony isn't just about the wants. It's a warning, one that pulls her reverse into a world of spying, treason, and untreated business that she has tried desperately to escape. And as she jolts awake in a cold sweat, fractions of the dream loiter with unsettling clarity, faces she hoped no way to see again, voices brooding pitfalls she knows are further than imagination, and a sense of impending doom that follows her into the daylight hours, making it insolvable for her to ignore the feeling that commodity disastrous is coming. And Anna's instincts, stoned by times of survival, tell her that this agony is connected to events unfolding right now, conceivably indeed tied to Sunny's dangerous pledge and Willow's decreasingly bold moves, drawing these three stories together in ways no bone anticipates until it's too late, because as Willow pushes forward, refusing to be silenced or sidelined, she intentionally steps into a battleground shaped by Sunny's oath and visited by Anna's fears, where every decision carries unrecoverable consequences and the emotional stakes shoot as alliances shift and trust becomes a rare commodity, leaving characters forced to choose between fidelity and tone preservation, love and verity, safety and justice. And with each fleeting moment, the pressure tightens like a mesh around Port Charles as Willow's strike ignites responses she cannot control. Sunny's pledge demands a immolation he may not survive, and Anna's agony begins to manifest in chillingly real ways, suggesting that the history isn't done with them yet and that whatever is coming will test not only their strength but their very individualities, because in Port Charles agonies do and stay in dreams, pledges are no way free, and when Willow strikes again nothing and no bone remains untouched. Willow's resoluteness only hardens as the ripple goods of her last move begin to surface. And with every rumored discussion and guarded regard, she realizes that striking again has placed her at the center of a storm far larger than she ever imagined. Yet rather of retreating, she leans in, driven by a fierce need to reclaim control over her own narrative. Because for too long, opinions were made around her, not with her. And now that verity has burned a fire that refuses to be extinguished, pushing Willow to defy not only the people who prevaricated to her, but also the corridor of herself that learned to survive by staying quiet. And as she presses forward, she uncovers layers of manipulation that reveal how deeply settled certain power structures are in Port Charles, making it sorrowfully clear that her pain was no way an accident, but a calculated threat others were willing to take. And this consummation transforms her from a wounded victim into a determined catalyst for change, indeed as loved bones worry she's walking straight into peril, because Willow knows that staying silent would be far more deadly in the long run. Especially now that Sonny Corinthos finds himself forced to watch events unfold from a position he despises, one where control slips through his fritters no matter how tightly he clenches them. And the pledge Sonny made continues to echo in his mind like a grim shower, reminding him that the once always demands payment. And this time the cost may be advanced than anything he has ever faced. Because keeping his word could expose vulnerabilities that his adversaries have been staying times to exploit, while breaking it would shatter the trust of those closest to him, leaving Sonny caught between two insolvable choices as pressure mounts from every direction. And the cracks in his armor come more visible with each passing battle, especially as he begins to smell that Willow's conduct, while born of pain, could spark consequences that hell beyond anyone's control. Yet Sonny cannot bring himself to stop her, because doing so would mean denying the verity of what she's uncovered. And that verity threatens to unravel precisely maintained visions of safety. While Anna Dean's agony continues to hang her waking hours, growing sharper and further pertinent with each recollection as she begins to see disturbing parallels between her dream and real-world developments that are far too precise to dismiss, egging Anna to still renew doors she formerly slammed shut, reaching out to old connections and reconsidering classified recollections she hoped were buried for good. Because Anna understands that agonies like this do and come without reason. And her instincts scream that a retired adversary is moving pieces into place, conceivably manipulating Sonny's pledge and Willow's campaign as part of a much larger wind-up. And as Anna digs deeper, she uncovers unsettling signs that someone from her once, someone she believed annulled, may be pulling strings from the murk, orchestrating chaos by exploiting emotional fractures and undetermined guilt. And this disclosure chills her to the core because it means the peril isn't arbitrary. It's particular. And as these three paths continue to meet, the emotional pressure in Port Charles becomes stifling, with secrets bleeding into the open and alliances tested under unsupportable strain, forcing characters to choose sides. Indeed, when the lines between right and wrong blur into painful Argentine, and Willow, formerly again undervalued, prove she's no longer willing to play the part others assign her. Standing her ground indeed, as pitfalls impend larger and the consequences of her conduct begin to impact those she loves most, including children who represent both stopgap and vulnerability in a city where innocence is infrequently spared.